Just west of Los Angeles in the Santa Monica Mountains, between Calabasas and Malibu, is a small park with some pretty big features. Hi, I'm William Gilmore for Hike-LosAngeles.com, and today we're going to hike Red Rock Canyon to the summit of Calabasas Peak. Now, along the way, we're going to see some soaring sandstone cliffs, water-carved caves, unique geologic rock formations, and fossils dating back some 20 million years. And of course, there's going to be some spectacular panoramic views of the Santa Monica Mountains. So take a hike with me, Los Angeles, through Red Rock Canyon Park to the summit of Calabasas Peak. The trail to Calabasas Peak begins in the parking lot at the White Pass Gate and follows a dirt fire road all the way to the summit. Once on the trail, the first thing you will notice are the red sandstone cliffs and striated outcroppings of rock that form the canyon walls and give the area its name. The Santa Monica Mountains are comprised primarily of sandstone. Now, this rock formed many millions of years ago as part of the seabed of an ancient ocean. And this particular example is called conglomerate rock because of the smaller stones and pebbles you see embedded into the base. These stones were washed into the ocean by rivers flowing from mountains to the east, and the stones eventually became embedded and fused into the sandstone. Eventually, tectonic forces, the same ones that are responsible for our earthquakes today, forced the seabed upwards many thousands of feet and formed the Santa Monica Mountains as we know them today. At about a quarter of a mile from the trailhead, the walls of the gorge narrow, and the underlying structural elements of the canyon are brought up close and personal, with long slabs of sandstone and overhanging rock faces inviting the adventurers to come and explore. While the early part of the fire road is fairly easy to traverse, there are numerous single-track paths branching off of that fire road, and I recommend taking the time to explore some of those side trails. You'll get to rise up above the canyon without going all the way to the rim and get some of these spectacular views from inside the canyon, as well as getting up close to some of these unique geologic rock formations. One of these side paths leads to the Reclining Man Caves, a pockmarked plate of stone that gives the impression of a man laying his head upon the ground. These sandstone caves were formed millions of years ago as water poured over and through the rock after it lifted up from the ancient ocean. Now, as caves go, these really aren't much more than pockets, but they're kind of interesting to get in and explore. And if you're hiking with small ones, they'll probably be really into it. This canyon highlight is literally just steps from the trail, but is easy to miss if you're not willing to engage in a little off-road exploration. One of the cool things about this hike are the fossils. Because this entire area was a seabed at one time, you'll find a number of marine life fossils embedded into the rock all along the trail side, like these scallop shells here embedded in this bit of sandstone. These are estimated to be some 20 million years old, and there are fossils like this all over the Red Rock Canyon Park. You might have to get off the trail to find them, but they're there. At just under a half mile, you will pass the Red Rock Trail, a single-track use path that offers a more intimate exploration of the canyon and its surrounding environs. It's also the point that generally marks the transition in canyon plant life. The upper reaches of the canyon are covered in chaparral, including toyon and manzanita, while the lower walls have a mixed riparian environment with oaks and sycamore offering some shade along the early parts of the trail. In the spring, a multitude of flowering plants such as the sticky monkey flower, Mexican pink, stinging lupine, Mariposa lily, seaside buckwheat, caterpillar phacelia, and the stately yucca, as well as the vibrant but invasive black mustard and Italian thistle, can be found blooming throughout the canyon. Continuing on the fire road from Red Rock Trail, the hike becomes moderately steeper as you ascend toward Calabasas Peak motorway. As the canyon falls away, the views begin to open up with some vistas that only hint at what is to come. At just over a mile, and roughly the halfway point, the fire road intersects with Calabasas Peak motorway and the rim of Red Rock Canyon. From here, the trail skirts the backside of the canyon with fantastic views into the interior of the Santa Monica Mountains. The trail will also get progressively steeper. In another half mile, you will pass a series of long sandstone ribs rising out of the canyon behind Red Rock up to the crest line. This also marks the beginning of the steepest part of the hike.
The first quarter of this hike is actually pretty easy. It's got some downhill and some pretty nice flat areas. The second quarter is a little more moderate, but not too bad. The third quarter, it gets pretty darn steep. But luckily, we're almost up here to the ridgeline, and that last quarter should level out a bit right up to the peak.
As the trail finally levels out, you are rewarded with spectacular panoramic views from the massive boulders of Red Rock Canyon overlook. This overlook offers perhaps the best views of the entire hike, but you haven't come this far not to reach the summit, and at just under a quarter of a mile away, it's an easy walk at this point. Pushing through the chaparral on a single-track use path, the summit offers a complete 360-degree view of the valleys, the LA Basin, and some beautiful sunset views over the Santa Monica Mountains.
All in all, this was an excellent hike through Red Rock Canyon up to the summit of Calabasas Peak. And along the way, we got to see some sandstone cliffs, unique geologic rock formations, a few caves, some beautiful flora, and of course those fantastic panoramic views from the summit of Calabasas Peak. Until next time, I'm William Gilmore asking you to take a hike, Los Angeles, right here on Hike-LosAngeles.com.